Hi, good afternoon everyone.
Good afternoon.
Today I would like to present my analysis. The novel is about We Are Okay by LaCour. The first analysis is the intrinsic elements. The first intrinsic elements is them. Loss and solitude, friendship, family and love. The novel explores how Marin deals with her deep grief after the death of her grandpa and her struggle with emotional trauma. Marin's relationship with her best friend, Mabel, illustrates the importance of emotional support during difficult times. And the next intrinsic elements is character and characterization. The first is the main character. The main character is Marin Delaney. Marin is portrayed as a girl full of inner wounds. She chooses to escape her past and isolate herself in the dormitory. Marin's characterization shows a teenager's struggle to come to terms with trauma, portraying an emotional side that is vulnerable but also strong. The next main character, the characters, is Mabel. Mabel is Marin's best friend, who appears in the middle of the story when she visits Marin on campus during winter break. She is attentive, firm, but also sensitive to Marin's needs. Mabel plays an important role in helping Marin open up and face her past. The next character is Marin's grandpa. Although deceased, Marin's grandfather is a very influential character in Marin's life. He is the only family Marin has after losing her parents. Grandpa was also a very close figure to Marin, who gave her a sense of security. His loss is one of the main reasons Marin has difficulty coping with life. The next intrinsic elements is setting. The first is setting of place. Setting of place in this novel is on the winter boarding school, where Marin isolates herself after leaving San Francisco. The quiet campus during winter break reinforced Marin's sense of loneliness and introspection. And the next setting of place in Marin's home in San Francisco, a setting that depicts Marin's past memories and traumas. And the setting of place we can see in the chapter 1 until 3. The next setting is setting of time. Setting of time in this novel, it's set in the winter around Christmas. And the next intrinsic structure is plot. The first is exposition. Marin's feeling alone and detached after her grandfather's death. She is now in college, away from home, and has distanced herself from others. She isolates herself from her friends and family after the death of her grandpa. And the exposition we can see in the chapter 1 until 2. The next is reading action. Tension begins to rise with the arrival of Mabel, bringing memories of the past that Marin has been trying to avoid. And the rising action we can see in the chapter 5 until chapter 8. The next is the climax. The most emotional and intense part of the story, where the big secret is revealed, where Marin finally opens up to Mabel, telling her the secret about her grandpa. That Marin's grandpa kept a big secret all his life. He never discussed his feelings or his past. And after his death, Marin discovers a shocking fact that changed her view of her grandpa. Marin felt betrayed by her grandfather, who was the only family figure in her life. This feeling led her to run away to college without telling anyone. And the climax in this novel we can see in the chapter 12. The next is following action. After taking to Mabel, Marion begins to understand that isolation is not the solution to her pain. Mabel shows Marion that she doesn't have to face this alone, and that she still has people who cares about her. Their relationship begins to improve, and Marion begins to consider getting back in touch with the people she left behind. And the following action in this novel we can see in the chapter 13 until 14. And the last plot is denouement or resolution. Marion realizes that although her past is full of pain and loss, she can choose to move on. Discovers a shocking fact that changed her view of her grandpa. Marion felt betrayed by her grandfather, who was the only family figure in her life. This feeling led her to run away to college without telling anyone. And the climax in this novel we can see in the chapter 12. The next is following action. After taking to Mabel, Marion begins to understand that isolation is not the solution to her pain. Mabel shows Marion that she doesn't have to face this alone, and that she still has people who cares about her. Their relationship begins to improve, and Marion begins to consider getting back in touch with the people she left behind. And the following action in this novel we can see in the chapter 13 until 14. And the last plot is denouement or resolution. Marion realizes that although her past is full of pain and loss, she can choose to move on, open up to those around her. The novel ends with Marion coming to terms with her past and ready to try to mend relationship with others, especially Mabel. And the denouement of this novel we can see in the last chapter of this novel. And next is pose or point of view. The pose of this novel is first-person point of view. The story is told through Marion's perspective. The next intrinsic structure is moral message. This novel teaches that avoiding problems will not solve them. We must face the problem, and support from friends and family is very important. And the next intrinsic structure is language feature. The first language feature is idioms. The example of sentence is picking up the peaches, a weight of my shoulders, and out in the open. The idioms in this novel we can see in the chapter 10 until 12. The next language feature is imagery. The example sentence is the snow was thick and white, covering every corner of the campus. The idioms in this novel we can see in the chapter 10 until 12. The next language feature is imagery. The example sentence is the snow was thick and white, covering every corner of the campus. This sentence we can see in the chapter 1. The next language feature is metaphor. The example sentence is the once was my past, and this sentence we can see in the chapter 10. And the next analysis is the extrinsic structure. The first is outer side. Nina LaCour often writes about issues of identity, love, and trauma. As a queer person, she creates characters that represent the LGBT community, such as Maureen and Mabel, and those relationships. And the next is culture background. American culture is very much present, especially campus life, Christmas tradition, and acceptance of LGBT issues. And the life extrinsic structure is social background. We Are Okay depicts the emotional distress of teenagers in the modern era, particularly in terms of self-isolation and loss. Maureen is a representation of many teenagers struggling with emotional trauma. I think that's all my analysis about novel We Are Okay by Nina LaCour. Thank you for your attention.